What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today we're going to be taking a look at some more Grails at Bladebinge. If you've never been to Bladebinge, use the link in the description, check out these pages. You can go to the shop, secondary market, which is what we're going to look at here. I am on the hunt for something new. It's been a little bit since I've bought something, and the last thing I bought from Bladebinge was the Halt Outlaw Prestige, which was awesome, and I'm actually pretty happy with the price that I got. I kind of feel like that was a pretty good deal. But anyways, if you want to check out this page, I'll link it down in the description. You guys can take a look at it if you want to. But for today, we're going to go through this together. So thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Make sure your notifications are turned on. This is a Wayfarer Classic, which is becoming an increasingly rare knife. Go! Go! Away with you! There we go. Alamic Wayfarer Classic Zirconium Bolsters. My God, that's a cool one. Ivory Paper Micarta Mirror Finish Compound. This is about as classic Wayfarer as it gets. This is insane. One of my first custom knives ever was, excuse me, a Wayfarer. I'm still working on the Ultra Sunrise Monster of the morning. Zero sugar, because sugar's bad and every other ingredient in an energy drink is good. That's a joke. But anyways, this is one of my first custom knives ever. I ordered one from I think it was Arizona Custom Knives. Before I even started the channel, I want to say I paid like $750 for it. It was nowhere near as done up like this. But those are becoming insanely rare knives for sure. I actually wonder if they have the date on this one, because I know he still makes these. CTS XHP also becoming an increasingly rare. That's going to be hard to sell with one feedback. But no date. Not at least that I can say. I would ask him when the date on that was, because he's been making those things for, well over a decade, probably more, probably closer to like 15 years. Demco 8020S nativity scene. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, it's still doing the thing where I'm clicking the picture. I'm gonna try to not do that. Where did this come from? Wonderful picture quality there. Make sure that the lens is fully focused when you take a picture. All right, nothing wrong with that, but it's just an odd thing to see on a pocket knife. I have a brand new in-box Demco 8020S in Magna Cut with a beautifully done nativity scene done on the show scale. Northern Star on the other side. Let's go maybe as quick sales. So is this factory? Okay. I would ask about where that came from. I've never seen one, factory or like special edition with the nativity scene on it. But yeah, I would still ask about it. X folder already going for 600 bones. That's the first time I've seen a mini FSD in purple. What else do we have here? Koenig Xenon. This is such an interesting knife to me. It really doesn't scream Koenig, but then again, Koenig only has a couple of models and they're completely different from each other. So when I think of the Koenig aesthetic, I think of the Arius. The Arius, which in my opinion has a very unique aesthetic. I'm sure that this is built with the same standards of quality as all other Koenig knives, but I don't see right there, Koenig Mini Arius non-flipper looks completely different. I would never guess that it's made by the same person, but I don't know, that's kind of neat, I guess. Typhoon still up for grabs. That's a full custom Typhoon, not the re-out built one. That's an authentic in-house. Battlefield pickup full tracks going for $1,200. I believe these are something like an $800 to $850 knife. What is BFPU? It's Battlefield pickup, meaning it looks like it was on the battlefield. Basically, your knife comes pre-scratched, which it is done in a uniform way. It's done in a uniform enough way that it kind of looks cool, right? The nice thing about the BFPUs is if you decide to use them, the irony here is that they are rare and valuable. So you don't, all of the marks that come on them need to be the authentic marks done before, it was actually up for purchase. And if you add additional marks to it, it then devalues it, which is funny, but it also is kind of like that's like Knife World to a T. That's like Knife World and secondary market nonsense to a T. The kind of nonsense that has always persisted and will always persist. And as a hinderer buyer, recognizing this humor and this irony, I am the type of hinderer buyer where if I'm going to buy something like this on the secondary market, I will pay more if it has only been scratched purposefully by the ranch and not after the fact. But if you decide to buy one and then use it, it will essentially always look the same, right? The blade and the frame and all of that. These are great pictures, by the way. I do appreciate, I want to point this out, I do appreciate the off-centered picture. I mean, this is a very honest picture here. It should not be off-center from the factory, but it is. And he just went ahead and took a picture of it. So that's nice. 121 feedback there. Not for $1,200, not for me, maybe for you. Maybe for somebody else. I am at the point where I don't think I will ever buy another Strider. I do have one that's a performance series that is about the best example of a Strider that I have ever owned. I have an SMF that has a few little wonky quirks, and then I have another SNG that is not a performance series that has like all of the quirks. And also, according to Taylor, their heat treatment, the end result of their heat treatment can be anywhere from LOL, why did you even heat treat it, to, yeah, that's pretty spot on for S30V, right? So I just, all reports of Strider knives is that they've always been like that. I mean, it's been 15, 20 years, and Strider's consistency is about the same now as it was 2 decades ago. So me personally, I'm kind of done buying. Like, I still like the knives. It's neat that I got one that it's pretty good. I mean, assuming the heat treat's okay, maybe not. It's in S30V. The ones that Taylor had tested in S30V seem to be kind of on the okay side. I think I'm just going to stick with that and not spend another $800 to $1,200 on something that's realistically between $400 and $600 in value when it's perfect. Moving on. Still probably the coolest cell shaded, and this is under presumably under black light. Here it is under the real light here. Is this all like encased? Why does this look? This is a bizarre picture to me. Is it underneath? Like, no, I was gonna say it must have been in a bag or something in that. Really cool though. And then this outlines it, and there is, of course, an edge bevel down here. But this is all like cell shade Cerakote. Serial number 69. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's move on here. What do we have? Another Oz Machine Company. Still for $1,200. It surprises me that we see so many of these on the secondary market. And at the same time that they're still going for like $1,200. That's crazy. I assumed at some point that the price would come down. There's another one there in yellow. Let's take a look at this Mantis and see what kind of I'm still clicking on the picture. I gotta stop that. It's like, that's my instinct, is to click on the image and to assume that something will happen. What do we have for the blade finish here? Is this M398? $955. I feel like that's not too... First of all, you have it mislabeled. Hold on. This says M398. You need to go back to your listing and change this. It says Bowler M390. That's wrong. 61 HRC would be great for M390, but on M398, it needs to be... I mean, like... And I think Herman knows this, and they actually did bump the HRC up to, like... I think they aim for 62, 63 now, but this is probably one from a maybe back a bit. Just to be clear, 61 M398 will make an absolute joke of 61 M390. It's still so ridiculous. Like it can go higher, but like M398 at 61 has unbelievable edge retention. So if that speaks to you, don't shy away from it. The Ire, I'm still waiting on mine. That's the standard one, 20 CV. I thought those were Vanax. 61 to 62 is pretty freaking good, though, man. I mean, like, that's awesome. Are they... I thought they were Vanax. I guess it does say on the card, right? Yeah, it says on the card, so that's what it is. I was just wrong. Sorry. My bad. Let's see here. We have no. I'm not $500 secondary Wii knives. No, thank you. That's kind of cool. That's the 2.0. What size of knife is the 2.0? Yeah, that's a pretty big guy. Boy, that's a good-looking knife. Holy moly. If a version of this ever goes up, if Custom Knife Factory and Rotten ever do a version of this where it's full Zerkatai and mirror DLC, I mean, it's going to cost $1,500 or maybe closer to $2,000. I would buy it. And it would be way too much money for that. Like, way too. It's probably, it'd be like $1,000 overpriced, right? And what's my reasoning for that? Because Kunwu can do the same thing for under $1,000. And Kunwu's fit and finish, their execution, their ability to heat treat blades, their consistency is the same. It's I mean, like, as far as like the complexity of the design, maybe you could say a lot of Custom Knife Factory stuff has more inlays, or they have more bevels, or they have more, right? Maybe Kunwu's got a more, subdued flow. But as far as like quality execution, Kunwu can produce the exact same knife for $1,000, and both knives are being OEM'd in China, right? Both, I mean, like, I have a Giga Padre, right? That's super nice, mirror polished, Sanmai ZDP. Just like an $850 knife, right? So, but knowing that, yes, I will still drop that kind of money on a CKF, like a really rare one. There's the Alchem here. I finally clicked on the thing that wasn't the picture. $1,195 is about the lowest price I have ever seen on something like this. And number one, it's because the standard version of this knife goes for $1,500, and that's what you're looking at here. Number two, we hardly ever see them pop up on the secondary market. So that's what this is. It is a lot of money for a knife. You are very unlikely to find a price that is lower. It is ridiculous. This is the type of thing that you purchase specifically for your collection. This would be an awful thing to actually carry around and use for so many reasons. But it is very cool. I own one. What does this say here? Blade has been carried and has cut stuff. Wow. Somebody actually carried this knife. That's really funny to me. Oh, he's looking for trades as well. Is this somebody who has 120? That's the same. Oh, it's not the same person, but somebody who's well integrated into this community. So, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. You don't see those pop up on secondary very often. David Freeman. No, we got an Umnumzan for $750. Wow. I just skip these. Like, maybe this seller does really well, but like I see this with the AI sunset and I'm just like, no. Because we know that the prices are just going to be insane. MG8020 Spear Point full tie is a pretty darn good deal. I think now that's the full size, full thickness USA version, the same size as my base version, not my big XXX. But the same size as my base version of that knife. God, this shirt. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good deal. He's got is that an aftermarket pocket clip? Is this the Demco clip? Oh, he's been carrying and using this. Has been used and even touched up. Okay, I mean, if it was brand new, I think that'd be a pretty good price tag, but not used. Not used. Nick Chuprin, NCC Knives X Rub Carter MK1 RC is actually a phenomenal knife, and that's a phenomenal price for it. Assuming the original collectible, blah, 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 with sleek is probably diddly. It says condition excellent. I would ask, have you been carrying and using this, right? And the reason is because somebody, like, we have no shortage of people who will carry and use a knife consistently, and then it'll like have marks and signs of wear, and they'll just list it as excellent because it's excellent by their standards. And that's nice, That's really nice and lovely that you think that. And like, this is me. I'm gonna go ahead and be a snob on behalf of like everybody who's ever been irritated by listings online. If you've been carrying and using your knife and it's got signs of you, and I'm not saying this is the case here. I'm saying there are people who don't know like the rules of the secondary market, right? And they carry and they use their knife, right? And it's, you know, the edge is seen wear and the pocket clip's got a little wear on it. It's got a couple marks here and there. And they clean it up and they clean the edge up. And then they list it online as excellent, not because they're trying to deceive, but because by their own definition, it is in excellent condition. That's nice and lovely and rainbows and sunshine. The reality of it is not in excellent condition. It is in, you could label it as lightly used, and then go through and explain where each individual mark is. This is how it works. Somebody coming in from the outside and not wanting it to be that way will be met the same way that a gentleman with a wiffle bat is standing on railroad tracks. You're gonna have to comply with the train. You can't do that, and it's only going to, the end result is that you're going to be met with a lot of negative feedback. That is the end result of that. You have to integrate properly, right? So I have 2 listings here, and I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm saying, like, don't list your knives as excellent if you're going by your own definition. You can't do that. Excellent my definition of excellent, right? Brand new in box and like new in box are very close, right? Brand new in box to me means it is literally brand new in the box. Like new in box means you took it out and you flipped it while you watched Netflix and you put it back in and it's been sitting in the box. It came out and went back in. Like new in box. Excellent would be close to that with like the most minor signs of being in the world, right? The most, basically nothing. Basically everything is perfect, but it has there's a weird like smudge on it that looks like it's not exactly the same as the surrounding tumbling or whatever, right? You're not quite fully confident in listing it as like new in box, but it is essentially near perfection. Okay, that's what excellent means. Anything below that is, you know, a used condition. Like you have to label it that way. This is and you know, people who have been a part of the knife community for a long time are going to nod their heads along with me. Newer people that are probably not nearly as used to this are going to think that that's, you know, basically like the equivalent of your average like Facebook marketplace kind of person, right? Those rules do not apply here. It's not the same thing, and you're going to be met with negativity if you don't sort of conform to that. And it seems over the top and ridiculous. It's the way it is. You'll have a better experience in the secondary part of the knife market if you comply with this mentality. The niche superintendent, blah, blah, blah. I'm just really curious about why it's listed this way. Seller does not accept returns. I would have a lot of questions for this person here. 2, listed as excellent with no context. Seller does not accept returns. Yeah, that person would need to explain his or herself for sure. Demco MG8020 V2 texture time Magna Cut. Hold on. That's a nice looking knife. Is it used? No, it's brand new in box. This is a very, very good price tag on something like this. This person's, he's even got the white gloves. Yeah. Full size, full thickness. Really nice looking, whatever you want to call that. Clip point, right? If it was a 940, we'd call it reverse tanto. Well, actually, you see, all the 940, the reason they call it a reverse tanto, I don't want to hear it. 19, we got a centering pick? Oh, yes, we do. This is a really good one. Magna Cut. All items shipped within a business day. All brand new, blah, blah, blah. Buyer paid shipping. Okay. This is listed as excellent. Seller does not accept returns. I would still not like, I don't like, you know, but this person has a lot more feedback, right? This looks really good. I'd still would want to know. It does say brand new in box and then listed as excellent, right? So there's more context to that. That actually, I think, is a pretty good listing. I might still ask some questions. It looks like he's got a couple of these. But yeah, pretty good. Maybe some of these that I had been critiquing were actually by the same person. There's the Bladebinge. Oh, that's not. That's a smart move. The integrated dark mode stuff in there. Bum 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 bum. No, 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 no. That's a nice looking knife. Anything that's got the hole in the blade, I immediately gravitate towards. The boa, the original mirror polished boa. I own that knife as well. Crescent Edges Celestial Meteor. I also own the Celestial. It's funny how rare these become after they do. You know, a lot of those are just like one and done runs, which you can't fault the designer for. Like if they just want to do one version of it, then that's, you know, that's not. I thought that was just a plain Jane one. That's the Damasteel one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I have the blue one, which I think is neat. I just wanted that because it was blue. Let's move on here. Barong. That's kind of cool. I've never seen that before. Golly. The Eric Luther. I am going to look at this one because it's weird. We still have the AI. Like, this guy took the picture from where, you know, they're supposed to light the beacons in Lord of the Rings. He's just up there. Aragorn, you know, hit it, and he lit his, and he was like, "Oh, it's a beautiful sunset." He like, takes a picture. What? How did people live? You ever watch that scene in Lord of the Rings, and it's going through, and at first you're like, you know, that guy who's like up on that first mountain, and it's like really close to the city. It's like, yeah, like that'd be a trek up there, but you know, if he like ran out of supplies, he's not, you know, the city's not that far. He might spend half the day getting back. But then they go way further, and it's like deep into the mountains. They're like in total isolation. Some of them are above the clouds, and it's just a hut and a pile of logs. What happens if you die? What happens if you just die up there and then the chain is broken? Like they light the beacons all the way to Frank, and they're like, oh geez, Frank's not lighting his beacon. It's because he's dead. He's been up there he ran out of beef jerky, you know, a long time ago. Ran out of beef jerky and hawk eggs a long time ago. He's dead, and the next beacon's not lit, right? Nobody ever finds out that Gondor calls for aid, and everybody dies. That's one of the... I know there's a lot of loopholes in Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. But that scene always, like, every time we see that, my wife and I are like, how does that even work? Oh, man. Okay. 0801, definitely rare. Another? Are there two 0801s? This one been used. It just says excellent. Discontinued, brand new, never carried. Okay, all right. Cut and sharpened, but no box. Huge problem. No box on old ZTs. No box on old. And like, there are plenty of ways to tell the difference between real and fake. And I'm not saying that this guy is selling fakes. It doesn't look like it. It looks like a lot of these are like from the same person, right? Here's that limited edition, that RJ Martin design. Sorry, we're experiencing some technological differences on Bladebinge right now. Let's just refresh the page. It absolutely came to a grinding halt, right? Old Volkswagen Beetle with no transmission, just grinding halt here. Here we go. But the problem with these older ones is that they are substantially easier to clone. And there are indicators, right? But the no box thing, I got it. Like this seller here with all of these old ZTs, do all of these not have boxes? No box. Dude, I got to tell you right now, huge mistake there. And people can critique all they want. Why does the box matter? You pay hundreds of dollars more for the box? No, they're not paying hundreds of dollars more for the box. They're paying hundreds of dollars more for the ability to authenticate it better. Obviously, having the box does not mean like, oh, no questions asked. Obviously, a box can be recreated. But all of these little things together, the indicators on the knife, the box, how the box looked for the time period, how it was, the label was printed on the box, all these little things. It's much more difficult for somebody who's cloning to get all of these things right together. On top of the fact that the box is going to be older and probably show a little bit more signs of wear, given that it's made out of cardboard. Having the box with the knife absolutely does help authenticate it and absolutely does make it more valuable. Despite the freaking, zero IQ argument, because I paid $100 more for a box. That's why I'm smart, savvy consumer. Cause I don't fall for that bull crap. You're not gonna take me for a ride. I think about this stuff beforehand. Shut up. That's such a silly argument. This is the same way that it has always been with all things that have ever grown in value over the a long period of time. You have a buying market for it, a collector market for it. Certain things become rare; they become more valuable. The people who are willing to spend the money on this stuff absolutely are going to want as many indicators of authenticity as possible, and it is not unrealistic to expect that. Furthermore, the people who will complain about this are people who generally would not be interested in buying the thing even if it were authenticated and even if they had the money. Even if they did have the money in the first place. These are just the types of people who sit back and critique things that they have no interest in the first place. This is how it's always been. It's how it's always will be. Anyways, I rarely buy from the secondary market, but I'm just saying, like, if you accept this stuff, the secondary market becomes substantially easier to navigate. Anything on this page? No, nothing on this page is really all that interesting. Oh, man. What the heck? I haven't seen this in forever. The Shane Seibert 755. I mean, it looks used. 266 of 1,000 in the first production of the 755 Benchmade premium folding knife design. 2013. I remember seeing this knife brand new at my local. It was actually a gold and silver and like used gun place, but they also had new Benchmades. And I went in there and this was listed at like 200 and something. I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of money for a pocket knife, The price actually two odds. That could be used. It could also use a good cleaning, etc. It's been very much carried. This is exceptionally rare, though. It is very, very rare. And are these the sliding? So this is the original, meaning this is not the double, the bolster like dual action auto version. This is tip down only. It is a frame lock with no lock bar insert. I mean, this screams 2013. Absolutely screams 2013. I mean, this got to be one of the most overbuilt Benchmade knives ever. Pretty cool. No feedback, but this does look like a pretty honest listing. Seller offers free returns. Just a pretty good show of faith there for somebody who has no feedback. Tactile Archer. I never got to review that knife. Oh my God, we've been doing this for 30 minutes already. MKT Colonial. Never reviewed that one either. Anything else? Looking for anything stand out. No. Ziffy is kind of cool there. I like the Segai pattern. Oh, there's a triple X for freaking for 1,700. My God, is mine 3V as well? I think mine's 3V. It has to be. That's first. That's the first run. So wow. So these are $1,800 knives, huh? Golly. I mean, I'm never gonna sell mine. Absolutely insane. Maybe we'll use that for the thumbnail. Okay, this was fun. That is it. We've been here for 30 minutes. Check out Bladebinge. Links in the description. That is going to be it from me today. Oh boy, hold on. One more. Now, that's a lot of money for this. The Asylum. Anything from Skiff. Like, Skiff is one of those makers where I would personally overpay for on the secondary market. They are that good. These are exceptional American-made knives, and their skiff knives are quickly becoming like the most prestigious of a lot of these American knife companies. They are hard to get. They are standout, not only aesthetically but functionally. I mean, these things ooze quality. This is a lot of money for what is essentially a $1,000 pocket knife. I mean, originally, like that's probably what we're looking at here, but it's only CPM 154. This is a perfect example of a knife where if you are judging it based on the materials that are used in its creation, you are shopping in the wrong tier. The materials are, I mean, like there's a bunch of different blade steels that he uses, right? CPM 154 is a great steel. It's a great user steel, right? But the cost of the knife has very, very little to do with just the materials that are being used here. It's rather how the materials are executed, the time involved with machining, the fit and finish, the assembly, the tuning, right? The finish work on the blade. That part that I just listed there is about 90% of what you're paying. And it's because the cost of creating the knife, that is 90% of it. The materials themselves are 10% or less in this case. So, but the 1750 is not, I mean, like, this is the type of knife that he would probably list for about maybe right around 1,000, like between 900 and 1,100, depending on, you know, what all is going on here. 1750 is the secondary market price, but he might actually get that, right? This is the type of thing that if I was going to go for, I would negotiate a little bit, but you should absolutely not expect, if you're shopping on the secondary market, you should not expect to pay too much less than this for a skiff. Like, that's just what you're going to see. So anyways, I think that's going to be it for me today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.